I call the Planning Commission meeting for May 1st, 2025 to order, and we'll begin with the pledge.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jackie, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Varga?
Here.
Mr. Crocker?
Here.
Mr. Haddon?
Here.
Mr. Perkovich?
Here.
Mr. Rossetti?
Here.
Mr. Tiedemann?
Excused.
Mr. Cook?
Here. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of from our regular meeting, April 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Abstain.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. On tonight's agenda, we have 3 public hearings, and we will follow this format. First, the applicant will have the opportunity to explain what they would like to do at a particular location. Second, anyone wishing to speak in favor of this proposal will be given the opportunity. Finally, anyone wishing to speak in opposition will be afforded the time to do so, or some people may just have questions, and we will try to get those answers. And with that, we have a conditional use permit to allow a vehicle towing service and storage as a similar use at 9060 Tyler Boulevard. Is that applicant here? Please come up, give us your name and address. Please spell your name and tell us a little bit about what you'd like to do.
I'm Larry Villines. Last name is V as in Victor, Illines, the Vice President for Classic Automotive Group, here on behalf of Northeast Ohio Towing, the newest member of the Classic Auto Group family. Also with us tonight is Kurt Hansen, who is our construction manager.
Kurt Hansen with Tally CM.
Just tell us a little bit about what you'd like to do. And make sure you speak into the mic or she's going to yell at you.
Correct. We are proposing to, behind the existing building there, if you go back to site plan view, better, perfect. Proposing behind the building to construct, it's approximately 24,000 square foot, basically a storage lot slash impound lot. That whole area will be enclosed with a 8-foot high security fence that will have basically have inserts in it that will block the visibility into the lot. Also going into the lot will be a automatic sliding gate that also too will have privacy slots on it, also with a man gate as well. So this will be dedicated only for the towing use as well. The area will be completely lit, it has cameras on it and secured. The only way to get into will basically be accessed by those who have which will basically be the towing. No one else will have access into here as well. Up into the front of the building, if you want to go to the floor plan view, there'll be a little front office area where the customers will be able to come into to basically get assistance to if there are lots that are in the impound, which obviously to get the cars either out of the impound lot or obviously if they need to get anything out of there as well. In front of the building, there will be dedicated spaces for the customers, which also be a ADA accessible space as well. Also in the back of the building inside, there will be a secured inside storage as well. Hold approximately 3 vehicles. This will be for if there's any vehicles that come in that need to have that for any reason be inside a secure area where nobody can get to them and can see them at all in terms of there's any issues with the police or any further issues with the cars.
Thank you. Is there anybody wishing to speak for this proposal? Anybody wishing to speak against this proposal? This public hearing is closed. Kathy, anything from the administration?
Mr. Chairman, we just have 7 conditions noted for consideration.
Thank you. Anything from the commission members? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with 7 conditions?
Second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 on the agenda, we have a conditional use permit to allow a car wash, Clean Express Auto Wash at 9361 Menor Avenue. Is that applicant here? Please come up, give us your name and address, and tell us a little bit about what you'd like to do. And we're going to do the conditional use, and we're going to go right into your site plan.
Okay. Name's Joe Bertucci, 13375 National Road Southwest, Etna, Ohio, 43068.
Jeff Plotz, Neff and Associates, 6405 York Road, Parma Heights, Ohio, 44130.
I am with Clean Express Auto Wash, Express Tunnel Car Wash, similar to the other car wash just north of here. with our prototypical building. This car wash is situated between the Speedway and the Walmart on Menor Avenue. No direct curb cut onto Menor Avenue. Car stacking on the east side of the site. Head northbound into the Pay Islands. Enter the tunnel on the north end and exit on the south end. There's cross access between Walmart and Speedway that exists today through an easement. And then there's spots for vacuums, 3 employee spaces on that north side of that row right there you're pointing at, and an ADA space there at the furthest point north. So pretty traditional express wash tunnel that we already operate in Menor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think all I'd add would be that you've proposed 3 conditions, and that all 3 of those conditions we're okay with. That we have no issues with those.
On the conditional use?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Is there anybody wishing to speak for this proposal? Anybody wishing to speak against this proposal? I have Charlene. And that's, just give us your name and address and,
Good evening. I'm Charlene Sulak, last name S-U-L-A-K. I reside at 7050 Chillicothe Road in Menor, which is right across the street from Mean Mugs and Walgreens. The condo is right across the street there. And as it is now, with Zappy's right there, traffic is bad enough as it is. Even yesterday, they had a busy day. Traffic was backed up to the intersection. No one was moving. We can't turn left out of our driveway because traffic is backed up on Chillicothe. And you have to sit there for 10, 15 minutes just to reach the intersection. If another car wash goes in on the other side of the intersection, traffic's going to back up, and we're not going to be able to turn left, make a left-hand turn on Menor Avenue. And it's just bad enough as it is. And the only solution that we could see is if traffic were to go down to Heisley at the light for Walmart and go in from there and close off the driveways from Menor Avenue, and Speedway not give access to it. That should cut down traffic from there, and traffic won't be backing up on Menor Avenue. Because it's just a mess as it is now. And that's how we all see it. So that's all I have to say.
thank you. And Jake, please come up, give us your name and address.
My name is Jake Bolanek. Address is 8681 Hendricks Road in Mentor. I want to be clear, I'm against the current proposed blueprint, not the business as a whole. As mentioned, Zappy's Car Wash down the road has a lot of traffic packages up. There was incorporated plans from the city of having a lot closure sign, some cones, a lot attendant there to deter traffic building up on Menor Avenue. But what happens when that lot closes? Walgreens takes overflow and people park in the Walgreens, obstructing traffic there. And then as soon as the sign is removed from Zappy's, they run right out of a Walgreens, make a U-turn right into Zappy's there, and that causes a traffic jam as well. So I know the administration has huge concerns of traffic buildup. This is one of our busiest road in Menor, being Menor Avenue. This intersection is probably the 3rd busiest one in Menor. So my proposal, going off of that blueprint there in red, there's easements on the north and south side of Boston Market currently, and their proposal is to eliminate the north side easement. I would suggest eliminating the south side easement closer to Menor Avenue, having the easement available on the north side. That will allow traffic pulling in from Menor Avenue to go down that easement between Walmart and the adjoining businesses, and the lot attendant would be able to pick up and close the access point easier. So if traffic pulled in, they would be able to detour within the parking lot itself rather than making a decision on a busy drive like Menor Avenue would. So administration proposed the same circumstances that Zappy does, a lot attendant, sign closure, 2 to 3 orange cones. But having the access point towards the north side of this lot would allow drivers to react quicker and make a sound decision on a less busier easement rather than a busy Menor Avenue. So currently there's concerns, well, what if we move everything? Well, the front setback is 30 feet. Currently the building is proposed to be 72.5 feet back from the front. There's about 42 feet there that we can play with a little bit. You could use the exact same plan where the building's located, just reverse the flow of the traffic going north around the backside of the building to now go south around the other side of the building if available. There was no setback restrictions notated in the blueprints of east, west, or north. So I'm not sure of restrictions there, but that's a proposal I would have, a suggestion. The other thought is whether this original plan is approved or a new one is suggested. Is there any talks that went on with Walmart or the adjoining businesses? As I mentioned, Walgreens takes a lot of overflow from Zappy's when their lot's closed. Where's the traffic going to go if this lot's closed? Most likely in Walmart. It could cause traffic jams at the gas station right there, potentially Speedway. So there's just other concerns to be aware of if we approve this blueprint as it sits. I think allowing the business as a whole is a huge benefit because the overflow from Zappy's, where are they going to go? You got another option right here. So they're going to take some of that business that we have with traffic back up down the street at Zappy's. I think having this car wash here is a good solution to help with Zappy's overflow, but the current proposal, having the entrance so close to Menor Avenue off that easement, is just a poor location. We need to look at an alternate entrance point for this. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Kathy, anything from administration? Is there anybody else? I know that not everybody. Okay, this public hearing is closed. Kathy, anything from administration?
We've noted the 3 conditions and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Anything from the commission members? On the conditional use?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hatt.
I have a question for administration. Regarding the traffic control with the A-frame and the person stopping the traffic, you know, if it gets too crazy, is it at the entrance in the from Speedway to the car wash, or actually at Route 20 and, you know, Speedway's entrance there? Like, you know, where's that A-frame supposed to be gonna?
Well, it should be on the property of
It's-
the car wash,
Okay.
not the gas station, so.
All right, thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, so to clarify that, the north-south where the Q is starts, or the east-west between Speedway and Walmart? Is that where seems to me that the barrier should be put, the temporary barrier should be at the start of the queue there, not on that to maintain that cross-access open.
I mean, that could be established if you wanted to be more specific in the condition, you can certainly do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
Mr. Chairman, would this be the pertinent spot to ask the applicants if they've looked at the reverse traffic flow, as this gentleman said with the north access points? Could you address that?
Well, I think we'll get into that on the site plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Or if you can speak to that at all. Sure.
We're gonna get discussed either way, right?
Either way.
I think that was, first of all, a great solution to close off at the entrance of the car wash that allows that flow of traffic across the bidirectional to allow cars to just continue flowing and continue on so it does not obstruct any traffic. And yes, we are agreeable to that because we agreed to that in our other Menor location site. We've looked at many different iterations of flow. One, typically for a car wash, you want a left-hand turn because a left-hand turn is the easiest and safest for customers to make. Right-hand turns are more difficult. You'll see that the eastern side of the property is shorter, so that dictates that we put the building on the western side of the property to allow for enough radius of a turn for customers entering and exiting the site safely to get onto the conveyor and then off of it. Gentleman is correct. There are easements on both the south and the north, and yes, we have come to agreements with both Speedway and Walmart to be able to close that northern easement and to maintain the southern easement. in order to have access on the north part of the property and reverse the flow, we would then be obstructing both easements. So in other words, if we closed the north easement and used it, just kept everything where it was and and use that stack lane in a right turn motion, and then therefore coming to the south side of the site, making a right onto the bidirectional and then a right into the building, we would then be obstructing both easements completely. And that's why we did not do that. It actually is a great idea. Obviously, we would want to start our stack further away, but we're unable to do that because we would obstruct both easements. Our customers would then be stacking on that southern easement parallel to Menor, but then also utilizing the northern easement as a drive aisle to enter the stack.
Let me ask a question, either of the city or whoever knows the answer. So you're saying that the southern drive, dual directional driveway that parallels Menor Avenue, that's an easement?
Yes, sir.
And it's an easement with both the gas station, or both gas stations?
Yes, sir. Well, it's not the gas station, it's Walmart.
Or
the entire-
Walmart,
Walmart on the
okay.
west and Speedway on the east, and,
Right.
and the Boston Market property is a third party to that.
So that,
And we're leasing it. so
that
it's-
parallel drive has to be maintained for their purposes.
That is correct. So the easement is for access and ingress and egress for all three parties. So it's the Boston, think of it as the Boston Market,
Okay.
our landlord's
Okay.
rights, Walmart's rights, and Speedway's rights, and
Okay.
both, and there's also an easement, sir, on the north side as well.
So technically that'll, and that would parallel the property line at the top, at the north end. that-
Correct.
that
You
other
could
easement.
see it actually parallels Menor.
I see, right
It
there.
goes
Oh, it's right
wherever
there.
that arrow is
Okay,
going
I
across,
see.
yes. They've
Yes.
agreed to close, I'll use the word close, temporarily abandon that easement. If we were to leave, that easement is back in full effect. It is not going away permanently. So a future user would then have to deal with both easements.
Is there anything else? I don't have much of a problem with the use. It's the site. And I live near here too, so I know how this intersection gets. So to come out of that car wash, make a right turn, then have to immediately make a left turn while you have traffic coming in, that just seems like that's not gonna work. You come out of the car wash, right, you take a left. And now you gotta make another hard left to get westbound on 20. While you got cars coming in, making a right turn, just seems like the site is just a little tight there. But,
Mr. Chairman?
Jeff?
I have the same reaction. I don't have I mean, you've got automobiles uses on both sides. I don't have a problem necessarily with this being a car wash, use of the automobile there. And we do discuss this, and I mean, we have two different two different votes on this. So I don't have any problem with the conditional use, and I think we should maybe resolve that first, and then talk in detail about the site some more. It's just my opinion.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on the conditional use.
Motion to approve by amending the condition, which one is it? 1A, to specify that the temporary barrier be placed at the the southernmost part of the entrance queue to maintain open that east-west easement. In other words, right there.
The last place they show cars.
The last place they show car, it's marked by a 2 on this site plan.
Maybe for the record, let's clarify that.
I'm sorry?
Just for the record, maybe clarify that again.
Yeah, the amending condition 1A, let me find the right words here. Give me a minute. That the temporarily closed sign, A-frame sign, location would be at the entrance to the, what do you call it, the lineup queue?
Stack lanes.
The stack lanes, which is in the southeast corner of the lot there, maintaining traffic flow in the east-west easement between the Speedway and the Walmart. It looks like the match mark on this is 26, somewhere thereabouts. Can't make, getting too old to read it.
It should be A and B, just to clarify, because B kind of mentions it as well.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, let's clean this up. I see a puzzled look here.
Yes.
Well, let me ask a question first, procedural question. This, even though this is the conditional use approval, we're getting into the site plan detail. And if we want we're gonna go right on to the site plan review, and we may wanna make changes to the site plan, which might negate or alter this paragraph. We may not have this configuration in the approved plan.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I also do recommend holding off on specificity with the site plan for that very purpose as well. Something else to be mentioned as well is the fact that, what's being recommended are those reservations in the conditions. And so what may also be considered is making changes such as that as well after the fact, if it does become problematic.
Okay. Less puzzled?
You want them to vote on the conditions now or hold off? Just hold off.
Vote on the conditional use as it stands now.
Yes, that would be my recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
So none of that.
Well, just for everyone's peace of mind, we do say in item B that it is on the car wash property. I think we can work through
Yeah.
specifically where it goes, but as long as it's on the car wash property, I think that's the most important thing. It should not be on the Speedway property.
Okay, wherever that winds up.
And item 3 does condition that the bypass lane is maintained also, now that I see that.
Okay, the bypass lane, though, is in the middle there between the
Oh, I'm
vacuum
sorry.
stations, so that's really the bypass lane.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry.
the bailout. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the 3 conditions?
Second. Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes,
Mr. Cook?
Yes. And we're going to go right into number 5, under new business, a preliminary site plan of a car wash, Clean Express Auto Wash at 9361 Manor Avenue. So now let's talk a little more about the site, if you want to talk a little bit more.
I think first and foremost, just to help you with that turning radius you had mentioned, we can get into the building itself and all that here in a second. You got to remember the condition today exists. The same condition exists. It's a Boston Market. It's a quick service restaurant. So the amount of cars that go through there are still generally making that same movement. So it's not a gross change to the current configuration is really all I'd point out. And we've actually eased the turn into the car wash to help traffic flow in. So I think that's just all I want to bring up and maybe mention.
Thank you. Kathy, anything from administration?
We're going to pull up these. These are a little bit easier to help kind of see where the traffic flow on site. I think there'll be some adequate buffering there in the front. We've made some recommendations with regard to that, which, again, they'll go through final site plan review, so there's opportunities to make any amendments there. I think with the double lane, the difference with this location and Zappy's is a single lane. I live over there as well, so I certainly can appreciate the concerns of traffic. But I think with the double lane, I think, one of the things we've seen, we do have a number of car washes in the city. We have some that have 3 lanes and they don't even get used. So I think with the 2 lanes, that provides, some comfort, hopefully, in the traffic flow moving nicely on the site as opposed to just a single lane. I think if there were just a single lane, there might be some more concern, but I think, eliminating the easement on the north side of the site and just having one location for access is probably smart, again, for cleaner flow. We have some comments on the building itself, architectural, and these are just some suggestions going into the architectural review at final site plan. You can see there that they've got that, that horizontal siding, which is like a brown, but the brick is gray, which seems to be a very popular choice these days, but everything around there is brown. So we're looking for maybe something a little bit more compatible on the brick. That would be a recommendation of the administration, and happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you. Anything from the commission members?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Varga?
Has a traffic study been done?
In fact, it has. We
Yes.
Brought our professional with us.
Please give us your name and address and spell your name, please.
Kevin Westbrooks, Westbrooks, with GPD Group, 6200 Oak Tree Boulevard in Independence. And yes, we did perform a traffic study.
And did the city get the
Yes.
benefit from
Yes.
this information? And did it point out anything that was worth talking about?
I mean, and certainly the engineering department gave it the most cursory review. You can certainly ask the traffic professional here. Is my understanding that in comparison to the prior use, this is less of an impact, but he can certainly confirm that.
Yes.
I never saw him line up to get Boston Market, but, but,
Speak right into the mic.
I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah, so I guess, unless you got a specific question, the trip generation, you guys have probably seen traffic studies. For this site, it's anticipated to be 78 trips an hour during the peak times, which would be 38 in, 38 out. Or, I'm sorry, 39 in, 39 out. We did a comparison for the Boston market. Obviously, we did the same calculation type thing. That's estimated at 99 trips, 51 in, 51 out. So a little bit more. I think it's like 20% or so more. Probably occurred at the Boston market than what you would see here. Yes, the Boston market, they didn't line up. They'd pull in, park, and leave, but it was, that constant turnover of traffic. So it's a little less impact in terms of number of total cars that would be coming and going.
Thank you.
Anything about the study as determine where the traffic would be coming from that would use the facility?
Yeah, we did, we call it the traffic distribution, where they're coming to and from. We apply it to the roadways, and it's almost evenly split, we believe, east and west. I think in the morning it's a little bit heavier to and from the west. In the afternoon it's a little bit heavier to and from the east, but it's like 55-45. So we figure a pretty good split from the 2 different directions.
And so when you're saying east and west, you're just talking about Menor Avenue?
Yes.
Did any of the traffic in your appraisal deal with Heisley and Chillicothe?
We did not look over that intersection. We focused on the driveways on
I
Menor.
understand, but people going here, that's one of the busiest intersections in the city, and they come from all 4 directions.
Yeah, and so I guess, if we're talking half, if roughly half the traffic was coming from the east, say 20 of the vehicles, and then that's split over the 3 different directions, we're talking 6 or 7 from each north, east, and south at the Heisley intersection. So, it starts to get pretty diluted pretty quickly when we're talking those numbers.
I've thought a lot about this. Let me just tell you what's on my mind, and people can react. One of the issues that I have with the entrance off of Menor Avenue, there is that easement that goes north. I don't know if it's an easement, it's a drive lane that Is that all on Walmart property?
Yes.
But people use that from both the existing gas station, Murphy's, and Boston Market. They use that to go north to catch the other driveway that goes east to a traffic light that allows them to then go north or south at that point. Would it be feasible to say that apron or that entrance right there at Menor Avenue, could that be just a right in and right out? So that the traffic leaving would only go west on Menor Avenue. The traffic entering the site would only come in turning right. And then to leave the facility, if you wanted to go south or north on Heisley, you could take the drive, cut over to the light. If you wanted to go south on Chillicothe, you could do the same thing because you would be entering traffic at a light. The light over on Heisley, then you could go straight. You could also turn and go east with a light and 2 lanes of traffic controlled by traffic lights. And that would distribute the people leaving. I'm not so much concerned about people getting there, okay? It's everyone leaving the facility from that location requires, I'd say, half, if not maybe more, of the people having to cross Menor Avenue to go east at a location that is sometimes backed up with traffic waiting at the intersection, the major intersection, or dodging cars that are making the turn, they're going west, you're coming off of Chillicothe or coming off of Heisley. They make the turn and they hit the gas and they all head west, right? And they shoot right past that. And if people are pulling out without any control, they're pulling right into a lane of fast-moving traffic. I live a few blocks from here too, and I'm real familiar with this situation. So I have no problem with the use. I have a problem that this could cause some real problems in terms of the traffic getting integrated back to go east, west, north, and south. So I'm just saying, I'm not the one proposing, I'm just reacting, that intersection, which is not a right in, right out right now, but that would become an right in and right out, and you could not turn left from that location. You'd have to go back out to Heisley where there's a traffic light and another traffic light to control it, so all the turns are controlled. And if you wanted to, and if Murphy's, if they want, someone wants to go west from their location, they could do the same thing, or they could go to the Walmart entrance where there is a traffic light to control some of these turns. It's the left-hand turns coming out of here that I find a real problem. Okay, now where did that?
That's an older picture.
That's an older picture. Older picture.
But just 2023.
Pork chop.
And the pork chop was there to control right in, right out. What happened to the pork chop? Was there a permit pulled to remove it?
It was eaten.
It was eaten. Well, I mean, so we've kind of addressed this in the past as being a problem. There's the old picture, show the pork chop, where that's what I'm saying, there should be a pork chop there. For those who don't know what a pork chop is, it's that big piece of concrete that forces you to only to turn right in, turn right out. So in my mind, that's the only way this can work, is to force people into locations where there's traffic lights to control the traffic. And right in and right out, I don't have a problem. I don't think it keeps your customers away. But leaving the site is where I think the problem becomes. So that's my
I guess
two.
in terms of our analysis, we kind of tried to look at like a worst case. So we brought all the traffic in and out of those driveways right there. In reality, something like you said, there are multiple ways to get to this. You can get off of Heisley, through various ways. So that'll further dilute how the traffic comes and goes.
I know,
but I think I guess the only problem with the Clean Express can't necessarily agree that it's not their driveway.
Right.
This is the driveway to Walmart.
Well, we can still ask for it.
Yeah, and the effects is very. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious too, how that pork chop
Yeah, how did it go
disappeared.
away?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It was approved once. It was a
Well, we can
condition.
certainly look into that. I don't, that would be an engineering question.
Well, and I'm not dictating that's the solution. I'm just, I'm reacting. And it's clear that a previous evaluation of that driveway intersection with Manor Avenue had a pork chop right in, right out. And I'm saying that's, in my mind, is almost a requirement. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying, I'm not trying to find the guilty party. I'm just saying that analysis was correct. That's the way I see it, should be. It's not there now. I don't know what happened to it. It's on the front of somebody's snowplow or something. I don't know.
Right, jackhammer got it. Did I see anything over here?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Carter?
so you can see there's some concerns about the configuration right now. Would you be willing to maybe go along and table this? I mean, and come back with something that some other configuration, some other ideas that might alleviate some of the concerns that you're hearing here tonight? Is that something you'd be open to?
Obviously, we're always open to working with the city, always.
Because so from what I understand, this road in front of Boston, crosshatch in front of that's not going anywhere,
That's correct. Like,
no matter what use comes in
they're
there.
controlled by Walmart and Speedway.
Right, that's not, whatever comes here is not going anywhere. And you can't block that
Including the
off.
north easement as well. We were
right.
lucky enough that they agreed to temporarily
Right,
abandon the north
and
easement.
you can't block those off, even if, so.
Correct.
So
not
you
permitted
need to
to.
manipulate
Correct.
signage, pork chops, and streetlights.
I do not agree with Mr. Varga about the pork chop, right? That is a safe movement to force right in, right out. It's just not our site, and we
Yeah.
can't control that. If you put the pork chop there, it wouldn't bother us one bit. We believe most customers will make the safe movement, right? And realize it's probably safer to drive north and go to get your way to Hinesley and work your way east. In fact, I did it earlier today. Like, I'm not even going to think about making a left across Menor Avenue, across Tulane. I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
However, I can't control, I don't have jurisdiction over site characteristics off of my property, right? That's the challenge.
Mr. Varga?
Well, I'm just saying, all you gotta do is sit there for a couple minutes and watch people take their lives in their hands as they hit the gas and shoot across, hoping that the left-hand turn on lane doesn't block them from being able to do that. I mean, no, it's a little bit of Wild West there, and part of this is to do something that's safe and that we think is appropriate. And so just because people do it doesn't necessarily mean that's appropriate either.
Maybe you could reach out to Walmart and work with the city and figure out the pork chop issue, but I'm with Mr. Crocker that I think that the site needs some work, and I'm on board for a table as well. So,
A question on a completely different matter?
oh,
You have rooftop equipment on top of this building?
It's a small, like a residential condensing unit. It's usually screened by those large towers. So
Okay, I mean,
there's
that's-
towers on both sides, yeah.
The issue is whether any rooftop equipment, it requires to be screened from your ability to see it.
Yes.
Being that you can drive all around this building, it should be screened from almost any vantage point.
Yes.
Is there any grounds mounted equipment of any kind?
Other than the
Transformers, anything like that?
other than the vacuums, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Crocker? Mr. Hadd?
is there a chance you can make your west driveway right in, right out? Or are you into that easement now going into Walmart? Just something to think about when you're looking at this. Instead of messing with Route 20, maybe just make the coming out to the west, you right out only.
Right, do it there, yeah.
If you can do that, you're in the easement, you're not on your property, so I don't know if you can do that either.
Correct, like,
It's one of those issues.
could we as a business? Sure, but as you can see the property line, we don't have jurisdiction over the curb cut, we have access. So we have ingress egress, we don't have the curb cut. Just the way the property lines are situated, so I feel kind of handcuffed here. I'm happy to work with the city. I'm gonna go back to my team, they're gonna say, well, what changes will we make? We've gone through, I can't tell you the number of iterations of site plans, north side open, south easement open, using the parking in the front, and we've gone through, we've tried to be very thoughtful about this. And I am obviously on board with tabling this if we have solutions we can work with. I'm not saying we're out of ideas, but we're kind of handcuffed. And we believe they are all safe movements for our customers.
And then one more question. Kathy had mentioned the gray brick. Have you thought about maybe putting a brown in there, or a tan or something to break that gray up?
The niche how you see there is, I forget the name of it, but we are in the process of changing to, it's a slightly darker brown. So the niche is just the cement board, the cross boards. So it's a little bit brown, but you know, that, are we open to it? Sure. We think our building's beautiful, but we understand. We would definitely work with the city. I drove around, took pictures of many businesses, like the Walmart's a split face, kind of white-ish. Across the streets of gray, right? There are a lot of red surrounding us with the Speedway and the retail in the back. Obviously, we would be open to discussing like what color reds. Sure, we've done it before. We do like our building. We think it's beautiful. However, we understand.
Well, I mean, the one in Menor that you just built, I mean, it's all brick and brown. That looks really nice.
That was a Rite Aid.
I know.
Existing Rite
Yeah,
Aid. It is beautiful.
we're aware of that, yeah.
That was a beautiful building. So yes, we're happy to keep that. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to the city, in my mind, in order to evaluate a proposal here, can the city at the future date get back to us about whatever was approved? There it is again in that picture. You can see there it is. Could you find out the status of that?
Yes.
If it was removed with the city permission or not? And, you know, if it was removed without the city permission and was a condition of the original approval, that maybe we can get somebody to put that back.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And the appropriate signage that goes with the lighting.
Well, if I could just say, I guess I have equal concerns on the Speedway side. I mean, if anything, I think Speedway's,
Oh,
it has
I
a
agree.
tremendous amount of traffic, so.
it's a suicide
That-
mission.
Going in and out there is going to be a little tricky. And we had this discussion when we were talking about the Lake Shore property and the shared access with Sheets. And maybe the applicant can talk about how that's worked out because, you know, there was a big concern with that cross-traffic and people running into each other, quite honestly. And at least there was a stop, there was a light. You know, there isn't a light here, so, I use that Speedway every week, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of traffic coming out at that location.
And they want to go east.
Sure. Well, yeah.
They try.
Yeah, they do. But I think, yes, you're right. I also do think a lot of people go and use the back.
Oh, I
the
understand.
back
That's the
drive.
reasonable thing to do.
Right.
Yeah, and not everybody's reasonable. We know that. Right. So I get that, but you can't control.
It's time of day, though, too, you know.
Sure.
Sometimes, I use this as well, sometimes, 10:30 on a Tuesday, it's traffic is light, but I know many times have I driven back to catch the light to then head south.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That's what I do, yeah.
But I don't know if he has any comments about how it's working at the Lakeshore site
Yeah.
with the gas station.
Sheets.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had zero issues with stacking there, and we believe it's actually made it so everyone knows. People used to fly, and I sat there as well. Would fly through those parking spaces to race to get to the light before it turned red. Right. That doesn't happen anymore because you're controlled with having to drive around our vacuums and the islands, and so we believe it's made it safer. That doesn't mean people don't speed around. I can only control what we can control. But it has eliminated that straight beeline from Sheets to the light. So they have to then make an S-turn here to get to the light. So it's actually slowed the traffic down, and we've had zero issues with stacking. None. Not even close.
Could you say on average how many cars stack up and are both lanes occupied?
Oh, it doesn't stack past that building on the east side. Go to the other. Yes. So
It doesn't go past, okay,
It doesn't even come, not even close to our back lot, not even close.
yeah.
I think this was a good use of the building, a
Thank you.
reuse. I think this was
Yeah, that was good. Good idea. So-
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to table?
Second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga,
Yes.
Mr. Crocker,
Yes.
Mr. Haddon,
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich.
Yes.
Mr. Rozzetti.
Yes.
Mr. Cook.
Yes. Thanks, guys.
Can we, I know we just made a motion. I don't feel like we have enough ideas to even come back with from what we talked about. I mean, besides right in, right out off of our property. That's the only thing we've discussed. So.
Which we support.
Yeah, which we support. But I mean, if we're coming back to the table, I just don't feel like we've discussed enough to bring back to the table that's going to significantly change this. Is there, I mean, we haven't really drilled down into a specific item or two that besides the traffic. The traffic is the traffic. And I don't feel like I don't know. I mean, the stack lane, if we flip the stack lane, I mean, we talked about the access is going to stay at the south side. I mean, what do you what are we looking for as far as like a little better solution? I mean, is there an item we can work on?
Kathy?
Well, I think you could, for one, talk to the neighboring properties and see what they're willing to work with you on and express the concerns of the city. We will go and find out from the engineer's office why the
Pork chop
was removed. And, I'm sure traffic comes up every time you propose a car wash. I mean, do you have traffic simulations or something to indicate what that flow is going to look like? We have sites, industrial sites, for example, that give us truck turning movements on a site and so forth. So I guess we're looking for some creativity on the applicant's end. And we'll talk to you about it offline, but I don't think that they're comfortable making a decision tonight. And so I think what you're saying is the applicant needs to maybe bring back some things to make you feel more comfortable with the proposal as it sits.
Do you have something?
It's actually, the problem isn't on your site. I mean, it's the people leaving the properties on either side of you that you have relationships with, that you have this easement. But so to some degree, they may need to be interfaced and maybe even with the city as to how some of this can be adjusted. Let me ask, I didn't pick up on this at the beginning. Had you considered flipping the whole thing so that you maintain the through drive at the end, at the north end and not at the south end, to abandon the one at the south and use the one through the north? That right away?
Go back to what he said.
And that would literally just flip the whole thing, but it would get, but it's not the entrance to your property that's the issue. It's
Maintain the easement at the south side.
Correct.
You have to. Okay, well then that answers that. So
No matter what.
So any user that comes here
Yeah.
has to deal with the same turning movements off of this property onto the Walmart and into and off of the Speedway.
I got you.
So our only concern is to kind of resolve the distribution of people leaving the site. They're leaving the site on someone else's property. They're the adjacent neighbors, and also with the city to figure out if there's more control of that needs to happen. So it may not be a
Open
big.
I mean, if we were able to, putting a right out to the roadway.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I mean,
No, making our own curb cut, another curb cut for our piece of property.
I'm getting a
I
head shake over here.
No, I understand. No, I understand.
We have a unique position where
Yeah.
we have a piece of property. It's really actually great for the city that there's a cross easement. We're not creating another curb cut for a piece of property.
Yeah.
So it's just another,
You got to work on a relationship with your neighbors, essentially.
Yeah, another curb cut along there is not probably a thing to do.
right in, right out.
I understand. No, I do understand. I do understand.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to go back to number 3, a conditional use permit to allow a commercial recreational facility at 7850 Menor Avenue, Unit 100. I see those applicants are here. Please give us your name and address. Spell your name, please.
Good evening. I'm Brian Thomas with Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm the manager of real estate development, and Brian with a Y. Our address is 345 Court Street, Coriopolis, PA 15108.
And I'm Matthew Krokora with Langen Civil Engineer, 6000 Lombardo Center, Cleveland, Ohio.
Tell us a little bit about what you want to do.
Yeah, if you give me a few minutes of your time, I'd like to give you the background of our new concept, Dick's House of Sport, and what it is and how it varies from our existing store next to this
Yeah,
site.
remember, we're going to talk about the conditional use for a recreational facility, which is primarily, right, Kathy, the track. Am I? Yes. Yeah.
Correct, and that's
So you can give us a little overview of,
Yeah.
kind of concentrate on that a little bit.
yeah, that was going to be my main focus here
Okay.
is because traditionally you look at an old Dick's Sporting Goods, our traditional 50,000 square foot building, there's not a field there. The House of Sport concept's all about experiential retail, testing the product, feeling the product, trying it out, taking it outdoors, whether it's a shoe, a baseball bat, lacrosse stick, just kicking a soccer ball around. So currently we have 21 of these open across the country with another 15 this year. Actually, we have one under construction at South Park Mall in Strongsville. This gives you a good picture of what existing sites we have already. So this really gives our athlete, our customer, we call them athletes, the chance to really, connect with the product and test it out, like I said, before they try it. We also host events here. We partner with the local community, whether it's a Boys and Girls Club, local school districts, anything like that, to host events there, open field time. In the winter time, we will actually put an ice rink out there, as you can see, have open ice time. You can rent it out, have birthday parties, private events. Sometimes we even partner with local hockey clubs, youth hockey clubs, to practice on the ice. So.
Thank you.
Yes, Andy.
Is there anybody wishing to speak for this proposal? Anybody wishing to speak against this proposal? This public hearing is closed. Kathy, anything from administration on the conditional use?
We have two conditions noted, and I'll just make note to Planning Commission that we were invited to go see one of the existing facilities in Pittsburgh, and it was pretty cool. And it is a restricted outdoor recreation area in terms of access, so you're only entering it, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but from the inside of the building. It will be controlled in that regard, and I think it will give a lot of life to the mall that really could bring some people to the mall, and I think that's a positive, so.
For sure. Anything from the administration, or commission members?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Crocker?
Just a question, so I know from the staff report that you can rent out the field, the track and field outside, is that true? You can rent out the field to the general public?
Yes, say you want to have your child's birthday party there, you could do that, or you want to have, a local school district wants to have a special event there with recess or whatever it might be, you could do that.
Nice. Do you also rent out, say, the golf simulators inside or the batting cages? Is that something, or is that just for product trial?
So the golf simulators, yes, you can rent those out. You can also take lessons, things of that nature. I don't know if you've ever been to one of our Golf Galaxy stores. It's the same concept there, multiple TrackMan bays. You can rent it by the hour to practice on your game. So.
Okay.
And then, sorry, the multi-flex cage, as we call it, I'm not sure if you can rent that out, but that's also a pretty cool concept. It's a miniature batting cage, but it's all technology, and you hit into the screen, and it produces the data. So,
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and just for the record, I think this is a fantastic idea. I'd like many other residents, drive by and see that empty Macy's building and worry about the future of our mall, and I think this is a great step in the right direction, and exactly what we need. So, thanks.
thank you. We're excited about it too. So,
Thank you. What are you going to do with the old Dick's building?
we currently lease that property, and I don't have the exact termination date, but once we open our new store, that store will close.
Okay. Anything else from the commission members? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the two conditions.
Second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. And now we have a preliminary site plan of a commercial building at 7850 Menor Avenue, Unit 100. Could you tell us a little bit more about the building, please?
Yes, we recently actually closed on this property. Did extensive studies, feasibility studies on potentially using the former Macy's box. It's just not feasible. It's old, depleted, and environmentally hot. So we decided we put our best foot forward here, demo the existing Macy's building, and build our new prototype from ground up. 120,000 square feet of sales floor plus the field we just discussed, 2 levels. Pretty much what you see there. Okay, that's what I was trying to go for. These are preliminary elevations. I know we submitted a floor plan. We're still in the design process, so things might change a little bit, but whenever we come in for our final site plan submission, we will have all the comments on here addressed on the elevation portion. Just to point out a cool feature on the middle elevation, I can't remember, I think that's the north. Right there, those glass windows where your cursor is, that's an overlook. So if, say, your kid's out there in the wintertime ice skating, you don't have to be out in the cold. You can stand there and watch your children ice skate around. So that's a cool feature there. The corner glazing curtain wall, if you will, that will only go there if we decide to put our rock climbing wall in the corner. It hasn't been determined where that goes, so that might stay or that might be eliminated, and that feature might just continue the other finishes along that. So that's still being designed internally. I don't know if you have any comments on it.
Just to add, with regard to the exterior of the building, we're going to reuse that existing loading dock area on the west side of the building. To the north, with the field being pushed forward, we're eliminating a little of the excess parking, and you'll see the impact go slightly north, just catching up to grade with a slight incline up. And that is all I have to add.
Thank you. Do you have any rooftop mounted units?
Yes, we do, and we're still analyzing how those will be screened with the height of our parapet and a visual point. But if they're visible to the public and from the parking lot, we will screen those.
Thank you. Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Varga.
Don't take those windows away. The north elevation is my concern. The building, the front of your building looks like a lot of your buildings. It's this front, and that's fine, and everyone's familiar with that. It's practically, similar to the other building you have now, and that's fine. North elevation faces the busiest, most important street in the city, and it looks like a warehouse to some degree. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do because it's not my job to figure it out, but I would like to see that more inviting, less kind of like a warehouse type building. So maybe more windows, maybe some other kinds of details to lighten that a little bit, because because you've turned the entrance now to the side, which is fine. I understand how that works on higher elevation and you come in at the second level. That's all fine and good. But that leaves this now to be kind of the stepsister elevation, not the most important, though it does face the rest of the city. So I'm just a little concerned that it may be and I appreciate the overlook, though. I looked on the plan. I guess that's on the floor above, so maybe that's why I don't quite see where that is on the plan, but that's right. I think that's a great idea. Maybe something else that can liven that up a little bit, so that when you drive by the mall, it doesn't look like somebody's put a big warehouse on the end of the mall, okay?
Okay, if I may,
Sure.
it becomes difficult during our design process to really spice up and liven that side, if you will, due to the track and the turf side being there. And we all say internally what draws people into this new concept is that field portion. People will drive by and say, what is Dick's Sporting Goods doing? We got to go in and check this out. So
Take a look at Hobby Lobby, because if you
Okay.
got Johnny Cake, the entrance faces west. But if you look at how when you're headed on the south side of it, it's a kind of a little bit of a mirror image, or like a dual front, but not a true frontage. Is I think that's kind of what you're thinking about.
Well, something, yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
So take a look down there and kind of.
Yeah, the thought is just to think of it, I understand it's the side of the building. I understand you have a big track in front of it, and that's interesting. It draws your customers. I'm just thinking about the way it looks for people who are not your customers, and just the fact that it's on the main street, and in the past was a architectural entrance, even with an empty building, it has a certain, appeal to it, or a certain architectural quality to it. I'm just suggesting that you apply some of that, an architectural treatment to the north face of the building that faces the main street in the city. That may not be your customers, but that we all look at it when we drive by.
If I can add, similar to this Hobby Lobby profile you have up, actually, our building has the truck docks. I know they appear right in front on that profile, but it's set back in the same manner here with screening as well. So that won't be
I'm
as
not
visual.
I'm not so concerned that the truck docks are there. They're lower, I'm just talking about when you drive by, the general impression you have of the building on the main street in the city. That it needs to make a little bit of an architectural appeal to the general environment.
Okay, just a quick question. I'm not familiar with the Hobby Lobby. I'm not from Ohio.
That's
so I've
actually
never-
not the front of the building, right?
Is that just a faux entry,
That's right,
essentially?
right.
Okay.
Right. See, it tricked you.
It was suggested they make those actual windows and enhance it, and it was their decision not to make those windows and just to make them a faux window. But the concept was that as you drove past it, you weren't just looking at a painted block wall, or, that's also a pretty busy street, Johnny Cake at the other end of the mall. And so the request on our part was to enhance it so that it didn't look like it was just the side of a warehouse or something.
Okay.
And the same thought applies to this location.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
you-
even more so, because Mentor's even a bigger street than Mentor Avenue than Johnny Cake is.
Just to clarify, so I can take this feedback
Sure.
to our office and explain to our design team what is being asked for and suggested here. Are you looking for more architectural feature or more signage or a mixture of both?
I don't
Just
care about-
anything to,
I don't care about the signage. That's
Okay.
between you and the city to work out in the weeds. I'm looking at more architectural detail that makes it more interesting, an elevation of a building as you drive by on Mentor
Okay.
Avenue. Not necessarily for your customers, but the fact that you're on the main street in the city with the highest amount of traffic. This is an important location. You're actually the end of the entire mall. You set a tone with this new project. I'd like to see it more architecturally developed.
okay, we can
And
definitely do that.
Your designers can take that and run with it.
Yeah, I'm not a designer by any means, so.
And I'm on board with Mr. Crocker. I love this idea, and, we have one of the last remaining malls left. So everything we can do to keep it. So.
You're still going to have an entrance to the mall, right?
Correct, yes, we will have a mall entry where the Macy's entry is today.
Okay.
Kathy, thought I had it.
Just a reminder, item number 2, a conditional use permit is going to be needed with the final site plan review. The building is over 35 feet in height, and so a CUP is required.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm-
With that in mind, that 50-foot, referencing number 2, conditional use, that parapet really sticks up 14 feet, but if you look at the elevations, it's a relatively small little portion that does protrude up that 14 feet. So that in general, the building itself is really within 1 foot of our maximum height limit in that district. So I feel pretty comfortable with that, even if we do start to add that kind of same element on the north face. Thank you.
Yeah. With that, I'll entertain, Kathy? Did I-
No, just for the benefit of the applicant, since he's not familiar with the area, if you just go up and down that service drive of the mall, what Larry's trying to show you here, which is very dark, it's Barnes and Noble. And that's probably even a better example of a side of the building that fronts Mentor Avenue, and they really did a nice job.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, I remember that, yeah.
making it look like it was the front of the building. We always talk about four-sided architecture, in this case, mostly three-sided architecture.
Right.
But if you just go up and down that interior drive, all of the buildings are done this way.
Okay.
And Barnes & Noble is just a really nice example, probably better, in my opinion, than Hobby Lobby, but.
In fact, that was a good way to describe it, as being, instead of just being one-faced architectural development on the main entrance, think of it as three sides of architectural detailing, because it protrudes and you see it from all around the site.
Mr. Chairman, one last question, sorry. Is Dick's owning this building, this property?
Yes, we actually closed on it. Ooh, don't hold me to this. Maybe a month ago.
Okay,
So we are the current owners.
so it's no longer technically part of the mall property, it's just adjacent to the mall?
Correct.
Okay, so and Kathy, this is probably for you, is because this property's so old, will the parking lot need to be renovated as well? And if the parking lot's renovated, Dick's, would you consider adding EV charging stations? So it talks about all the bike racks you're adding, but, and I'm not an EV driver, but I know, I have several in my family, and it would, we need to start coming into the 21st century here in Mentor, I think, and starting adding them whenever we have the opportunity to.
We typically do not do that unless we're required to, is the answer. So, and actually, is it okay if I ask a question about the bike racks? The bike spaces, where exactly do you typically like to see these? Is it in front of our store? I guess I just want to clarify, is it
Closer to
actually
the
out in the
entrance.
parking lot?
Closer to the entrance.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at different buildings, they're all over. I mean, they could be to the side of the building, but you don't want it, I mean, we're thinking, obviously, this is gonna be a huge draw for youth, so if they do come up by themselves and are riding their bikes, they don't wanna be too far away from the entrance, so obviously, you have some considerations with the site, and we'll work with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the 10 conditions.
Second. Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Hadden?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Bezzetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Under new business, we have an architectural reimaging of a commercial building, Corduroy's Pizza, at 9131 Jordan Drive. Is that applicant here? Come on up, give us your name and address. Tell us a little bit about what you'd like to do at Corduroy's Pizza.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Brandon Stroud, Stroud, and I'm looking for an architectural reimaging of the side of Corduroy Pizza. Okay, so I am this should be an easier pitch than I think a lot of others here, because it's a painting, but I'm a one-man grassroots movement here. I'm doing a lot in the Headlands community. I come from a long family line of philanthropists. My grandpa was mayor for 8 years in Mentor-on-the-Lake. My uncle was the co-founder of the Louis Run, and so on and so forth. So I would like to continue that personal legacy for myself and my kids, but also for the Headlands community. So the concept here is quite simple. So as you're coming down Corduroy Road, one thing that you notice right off the bat is the legendary Corduroy's Pizza. And this shop catches your eye right away. It's seen better days. The owner will admit it. That's why we're working together here. My concept is to do a panorama of the entire history of the Headlands, from where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Something that would well outlive myself here, as a beacon for the community. So studies have shown that a good painting can really bring the community together. So I run a nonprofit called Engineering Peace, and my model for this here is that every community has 5 pillars of peace. You all know it more than anybody, and I want to help sustain those pillars of peace. And one of those is safety, food, shelter, your basics. But another one is community. Now, I'm a trustee at the Mentor Community Center at the Headlands, and I'm injecting ideas like this here because we need more of them desperately. I run the Neighborhood Watch program. I'm working with city engineers to put in a community garden. My ideas are endless, but this was on the top of the list here because as you're coming down Corduroy Road, we need a symbol to say, welcome to the Headlands. We get approximately 2 million people come down just to see our beach a year, and they'd be more likely to come through if we had a conversation piece like this coming through this way. Now, IGA is under new ownership, and that is the local convenience store, and they are doing awesome, massive changes. This is like really, really good timing for all of this stuff to happen, and there's a couple other improvements being made in the area as well. So it seems like it's in the air. Now's the time. I don't see myself coming back to propose this again. I'm very, very serious about it, but I will take your response seriously as well if you feel like this is not a good idea. The community has spoken. They are very, very interested in this. It gets people to come by to take pictures. It makes the area look nicer and safer. And again, this is just one of many, many changes that I'm trying to do positively here in the community. That's all.
Thank you. Kathy, anything from administration?
We have our comments in the staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions. I think mainly the concern that the city administration has is that there are other maintenance issues that need to be addressed on site. And whenever anybody comes forward with a proposal to make an improvement on the site, we generally like to see other improvements made as well. It would be an incomplete approval if you didn't address some of these other items, in our opinion. So I don't think that it can't be considered. I just think that there's some other things that need to be addressed on the property as well, and that should be part of this review.
Okay, so you've read the staff report and you're okay with the conditions?
I'm totally okay with it. In fact, the owner is getting probably this week 2 of those done this week. She's moving expediently because she's so excited that I've spent my time and money doing this for her. I mean, we used to have this great sign. That's another one, they just need to put a new awning on. She's had some personal loss, and she is a new business owner, and so she's navigating her way through this. And I have been the spark for her to get these things done, and a lot of people are very excited about that. Very excited about that. Yeah, the conditions are completely reasonable. She knows they need to be done, and they need to be done. Absolutely.
Mr. Varga.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple questions, just to kind of get the feel of this. I see the rendering of this. It's a square image. It looks almost exactly square. When I look at the location where this is going, it's a rectilinear wall.
Correct.
Are you going to limit it to the square image?
This rendering is as close as we could get for a proposal. This is actually AI generated.
I see, okay.
So, yeah, we're doing our best, but it's an approximation.
There's more to it. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Like
It'd just be stretched out a little.
Ground, okay. And that wall has 2 light fixtures. It looks like there's some kind of a mechanical device or a sign or something. There's a bench. All that's going to be incorporated, taken, removed?
Yeah, it'll all be incorporated. So the bench is being actually removed and fixed. It's gonna we want it removed so we can do the painting in full, and then the bench will be somewhere you can sit like you're at the beach with that as your backdrop. The dumpster needs screening. It's kind of strange that it's there. So we know that. Potholes need to be filled and some new paint lines, and put a sign back on so we know.
And those light fixtures are going to remain? You're going to paint those?
Yeah, we're not,
paint those out somehow, or?
Well, if there's an opinion from the members, okay.
I'll leave
Otherwise,
it up to you.
we would incorporate it.
I'm just making the observation that the shape of the wall is different than the shape of
we would
the image,
incorporate it.
but that they're actually
There'll be some creative liberties.
Copacetic,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean the basic drawing is exactly what we're focused on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hab?
With item number 4, the screening of the dumpster, have you thought of using, and maybe Kathy can talk about this, the screening as part of your mural too, or?
We're very
I
much
wasn't
open
sure
to
if that's even a consideration or not, or does it have to be wood?
Are you talking about like a surfboards around the dumpster?
Well, usually.
Hey, wait a minute. We're gonna have to talk after this. This is actually pretty good.
Answer something. I wasn't sure if
No,
you
we're not
can
gonna tack it up, but we're gonna. I'm open to it, but I think the mural is the focus here, and I think I'd like to keep, maybe the other things.
But to screen that dumpster, he's going to put a fence around it or something, and maybe that be incorporated somehow in your mural. That's all I'm thinking.
Can they put that behind their building?
If there's
Would that save
asphalt.
us?
Well, it has to be on an improved surface.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah, they were gonna build. They talked to
Yeah,
me
there's
today
no-
about.
There's no behind the building. Looks like the property line ends right there, so.
Gotcha.
Just some consideration,
Yeah,
something about.
for sure. Get you guys on the creative team here on that.
A surfboard, that's a good idea.
It's a pretty darn good idea.
Mr. Chairman, you're gonna, I'm sure you're gonna use the appropriate paint, the appropriate preparation.
Of course.
This is gonna be painted on a concrete block wall.
That's right.
Are you gonna fill the joints or the wall? Is it gonna be flat, or is the joints gonna still be there?
So the artist is excited because I guess this is the perfect texture to paint on.
Okay.
So there seems to be no issues whatsoever for the artist.
And then, is the city is a kind of a guarantee that this will last for a certain period of time, that after 3 years, it's
Yeah.
not all gonna start peeling off and
Right.
become an eyesore? We don't want that to
That's
happen?
correct. It will not. So the artist, I wrote up a quick bio for the artist. I'm very lucky that he's donating his time. His name is Nick Beebe, and he is a professional artist. Also has his own LLC for mural painting. So a lot of all of the information that came with the paints and the protectant coating and what you do to power wash and clean the building beforehand, all came from him, and those are all documented in there as well. Yes, built to last for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from the commission members? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the 4 conditions.
Second.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. Thank you.
That's a big win. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Our community appreciates it.
Number 7, we have a site alteration of a commercial building at 7139 Hopkins Road. That applicant, please give us your name and address and tell us a little bit about what you want to do.
Good evening. My name is Judd Klein. I live at 161 Orange Lake Drive in Orange Village, Ohio. I'm here tonight representing the owners of 7139 Hopkins. We're here to re-image and reuse an existing building and site with site improvements as necessary, budget for improvements while never are usually a concern of planning commissions. I know this pretty well for 25 years on a planning commission myself, and but it is important for the outcome of the property to be able to have what the owners are looking to achieve. I wanted to look at, first of all, the existing conditions of the site. If we can, the property line and the street paving are concurrent, leaving very little room for a sidewalk to occur outside of the property line that's not in the street area. The existing site also has a 50-foot setback from the street with a sidewalk in front of the building of approximately 6 feet, parking depth of about 19 feet, and a minimum of drive space of 20 feet in front of that. A total of 45 feet, leaving only about 5 feet of excess area that could be used for something like landscaping, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The adjacent properties to this site are all commercial, and they're paved lots. And we're aware of the fact that there is a property line between, that this was at one time 2 properties. Apparently it still is. The owner has engaged an engineer for a consolidation, and the plan for a consolidation has been submitted. So what we're requesting here tonight is a modification of previously required conditions of approval. And based on sort of practical difficulty of appropriately meeting some of those conditions, we'd like to talk about those and see if we can't reevaluate them. First of all, as I mentioned, the sidewalk would fall outside of the right-of-way as requested, is actually in the bike lane, or would fall into the bike lane. There is no sidewalk extending beyond the property to the north. So if we put a sidewalk in, it's a sidewalk to nowhere. And it seems like there really isn't pedestrian traffic on that side of the street to accommodate. There is a sidewalk on the opposite side of the street where the school is, and that obviously gets used. The landscape zone issues that were requested for an area of 9 feet would result in diminishing the existing traffic access, cutting it down to something below what would be comfortable for maneuvering cars in and out. And then also putting a landscape island inside the property that close to the street is going to be very difficult to maintain any kind of reasonable landscaping in it because of snowplow and salt issues that would be encountered as a result. There was screen fencing that was asked for around the perimeter of the back of the site, which seems unnecessary given the fact that what is around the site is open parking lots. We believe it's appropriate to provide an enclosure for the trash dumpster, and that would be provided, and details for that could be forthcoming. So that's what we're here to talk about and propose. We would propose that you consider that and offer the building to be re-imaged, which is really where they want to spend their money on this. There are a couple new tenants that will be coming in to the building. I have the owner and one of the tenants here with me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy, anything from administration?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, we've reiterated the conditions that were previously approved. I mean, it wasn't approved that long ago. I think the city's certainly willing to work with them on the depth of the landscape island and so forth, but, and again, similar to other sites, I can think of mostly namely the Elite Tire that's on Lakeshore. It was very important to the administration to see an established curb. This has unlimited access in and out of the site, and certainly we would like to see that improved. Obviously, there is the bike lane there. We recognize that. You know, we also thought that, you know, they could work to mirror what is seen on the adjacent property to some degree with the small amount of landscaping that's there and the sidewalk that's there. And the engineering department is asking for an engineered plan. If they're doing a consolidation plan, that's something that probably is easily provided. But to just say nothing and keep it as is, I don't think that the administration's comfortable with that, so. And not concerned about the fencing. It is not a requirement, so that's not an issue.
Thank you. Anything from the commission members?
Mr. Chairman. I myself, I'm not too worried about the fence and the change in color of the awning. I remember this as well that came before us. It wasn't very long ago, but wasn't the original submission actually asking for the landscape island in that proposal, which I think does help the ingress egress. So even if it does shrink down somewhat, I do think it's pretty important to somehow keep that even in a limited role, rather than just parking right up to the street.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Varga.
Again, is it just my opinion? I do see the questionable usability of a sidewalk going to the north when there's no sidewalks on any of the residential properties, even though the next property it's zoned commercial, but it's actually just a residence, right? Or is it an office?
You talking about the?
Right.
Immediately
Directly
north is a house.
Immediately north, it's a house, but it's zoned commercial, right? Right. There's no sidewalks the rest of the way. The bike path is there. That's good. Maybe we could, I could consider eliminating the sidewalk, but keeping the landscape areas so that you could define your in and out area. You know, because it does look pretty tight. But there's certainly room for a landscaping strip And something that would define the driveway going in and out.
And that's what we're looking for, is the curbing. And we just talked about a tree lawn. You know, you could do a tree lawn there.
People might have a tendency to drive over a tree lawn. I mean, I don't mind having some landscaping there, you know, the kind of three-dimensional, don't drive here.
How about a pork chop? A big pork chop.
We'll bring the whole pig.
Anyhow, that's my thought. That's all.
Mr. Chairman,
Dave?
I'm not a big fan of the light gray and the black. Everything around that shy of the immediate chiropractor next door are red brick. Across the street, the CVS on the other side of Menor Avenue, and every house up that street is red brick. And Memorial across the street. So I would ask that you consider toning it down to something that fits into the neighborhood.
Well, the building immediately next door is sort of a blue-gray.
Yeah, I said, except for that one, that's the only one that doesn't comply. Everything else around it, the CVS, the University Hospitals facility, the school, and all the homes are all red brick. So something that would blend more than a bright white with black awnings building, or a light gray with black awnings. And yes, there is no sidewalk there, but people do walk there in the bike lane. Because there are no sidewalks on that side of the street, and the sidewalk ends at Garfield School Building.
Is there anything else?
One other question, Mr. Chairman. What are you putting between that home immediately to the north and your building? Is there a fence going in there?
No, well,
It's
essentially
overgrown
that's-
brush right now.
Well, the side of the building, well, that's landscaping over
Yeah.
there. I believe, quite honestly, that's the neighbor's landscaping.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hedge that's
Yeah.
out of control. And then I too have no issue with the fence behind the property.
This is the owner.
Hello, George Sidoris, 7611 Astor Drive, Menor. We've recently just trimmed that entire hedge. We haven't had too much cooperation with the neighbor, but we did a considerable amount of cleanup on that whole side. It was deplorable. Beer cans, people sitting in the back. That's all been cleaned up. A lot of that is still from hobnobbers over in that corner, but everything's all trimmed on that side. That was done last week.
So
Kathy, do you have anything?
Well, maybe, I guess maybe consideration to have the application tabled, so that they could maybe come back with some alternative, based on some of the feedback that they received tonight. The site plan that they provided, it was an architectural site plan. It's pretty small. It would be nice to see something that would really lay that out a little bit better. And if you don't want to do a 9-foot lawn and so forth, and if you don't want to do the sidewalk, give us something to work with, that you can, rather than just working with what's here.
Let me ask a question. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Please? Is the architectural elevations up for review again? I mean, I thought we went through this. Is the subject of this review now just the area with the sidewalk, the fence, the landscaping, or is it the entire proposal?
I mean, I guess that's up to you. It's fair game. I guess it came back to you, so.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm just trying to get the gist of
It
what's in
wasn't a
front of
separate
us.
approval. It was all one approval
Oh, I
with the
understand,
last
but
submission.
the subjects of them coming here, is it the fence, the landscaping
That is
area
what
in the
they,
front,
that is what they asked you to review, yes.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't, you know, I don't mean to argue about what colors, I mean, I thought we did this once already. That's the only reason I bring it up, is that to keep the review to whatever is the subject.
It's different.
Our submission was basically looking at the site, not
Right.
the building.
Right. All right, well, the only thing I have in my head is the fact that there's no sidewalk going north and people do walk in the bike lane, but it's there, you know, all the way up the street, unless they don't really have a lot of room, but I'd like to see some landscaping, some plants in a bed. I don't think we need, I don't think we need to have the sidewalk there too. And we need to define the entrances going in and out.
Well, as it was previously approved, there was only actually one entrance, in and out entrance approved, not two, as they originally proposed it.
I don't know that I have a problem as long as it's clearly marked in and out. I mean, those are single entrances lanes. One is a single width going in and one is a single width going out. Is that what I'm seeing there?
That was on the original plan. But the condition that was approved shall have one drive access onto Hopkins with a required width of 24 feet for in and out access.
So that's what's in front of us. I mean, we're not changing that. I'm sorry, I'm being dense there, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what is the subjects in front of us versus the things we've approved that's not going to change. They're asking to change the access?
Site, you can ask the applicant.
Are you, do you want to have a dual or a double width entrance and exit?
Well, if we're going to have a landscape bed, it doesn't matter one in, one out. I think it makes more sense for the dual access in.
Okay,
from the standpoint of functionality.
okay, so that's fine. So that's not what we're talking about now. So the only thing I'm suggesting we keep is the landscaping area with some three-dimensional landscaping in front of it.
No pork chop?
And no sidewalk.
They get stolen. Mr. Haddon.
So, or eaten, right? So we're going to eliminate the fence, right? We're going to add some landscaping and make it a one-way dual entrance in and out. But we do need some landscaping. So I think what Kathy was saying, we kind of need a drawing indicating that. It's kind of hard to look at this and make that decision. So it'd be nice to table this, come back with a drawing of exactly what you want, showing some landscaping, and I think we'll be okay with that.
Well, let me propose something, because of efficiency and the ability of the owners to move the project forward, with the idea of providing a landscape element in the front and dual access in and out. Could be that approved administratively through the review by staff, as opposed to having to come back to Planning Commission for a full review.
That would be a question for the administration. Sorry.
I
Kathy?
do that all the time.
Engineering's going to need to obviously weigh in on this. They're going to have final say on the access points. They're going to want to see it. They've also asked for an engineered site plan to be provided. So if they provide that, you could add language to item 7, which shall be fully reviewed and approved by the engineering department. But you would have to make some clear clarifications here that what's not necessary. I mean, no sidewalks but there should be defined access points. That's the whole point of
Yes,
this,
yes.
is not to have
No, I agree. That's the whole point of maintaining the landscaping area, is to define the driveway area from the area that's not to be crossed with landscaping. And I guess we're not going to do the fence. The sidewalk seems to be a burden. I mean, it doesn't attach to anything on either end. I don't want to argue the point. I mean, I'm not trying to
No, that's
debate
true.
it, but
That's true.
it's not connected at either end to in a useful way. So all we're really talking about is and maybe that could be done administratively. Just the
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Brown.
I would recommend that this commission maintain its jurisdiction over this, just to ensure that this is done properly. I understand the concern for expediency, but at the same time, this could be a long-lasting impact on what is done, and so to ensure that it's done correctly, I would recommend doing it that way, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
And architecturally, the building was approved as is,
Yes.
and there's nothing that would inhibit them from proceeding with that, other than getting the permit and such, right?
Which we're in the process of doing.
So then let's table this until they get a drawing that defines these alterations, it doesn't inhibit you from doing the rest of the improvements that were approved at the last meeting. And, so I'm gonna suggest.
With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, motion to table.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rosetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Why are you always last?
He needs to stop submitting it so late.
Under new business, we have a building addition site alteration of a recreational facility at 8600 Munson Road. Please give us your name and address.
Kenneth Kaminsky, Parks and Recreation Director for the city of Mentor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did take the pork chop, by the way.
You got to get into the mic. Look, you're getting yelled at.
Okay, sorry about that. As you're aware, the Parks and Recreation Department is in the process of replacing a lot of the old buildings that we've had within the division. And this is the next phase of that. The Civic Center pool area currently has total of five buildings there that were built in 1980. They obviously have the style of 1980. They're not very functionable for what we're trying to do over at the swimming pool. The plan is to replace those, enhance the area. As you're aware, you guys approved the parking lot expansion, everything directly to the east of that as well, which is actually out to bid right now. So this is the next phase in improving the Civic Center park area. And the buildings that we're proposing for this is going to be served in various different ways, as you see going through here. We'll be able to serve, besides the people that or the patrons that are using the pool, the pickleball people, the patrons of the park will also have access to an outdoor restroom that would be able to be opened year-round. And then the concession stand portion of the project itself would be able to be utilized from the pool as well as the people that go into the park as well. It's obviously much easier for us to maintain a few buildings than the current five that we have. One of the great things about this that Larry just showed on the schematics right there is the restrooms are nice and close. We now have family restrooms that we currently only have one. The handicap accessibility of these restrooms and changing locker rooms is a priority of ours. I don't know when the last time you guys were in the buildings that we have out there, but it's dark, it's dingy, it's very difficult to get around. So enhancing these facilities is kind of what is important to us. Interestingly, this also coincides with the slide that is being installed. The goal with this buildings right here are to match the, if you will, the design of the amphitheater. Granted, it's not going to have the curved slope, but you see it actually has some slopes on the building right there. The colors are going to be very similar. Our ice arena is the front of the facility is actually going to go through a similar transformation with this as well. So it's really going to enhance the whole Civic Center park. This serves much better for all of our lifeguards and our staff to be able to be in the facilities, to be able to help if there is a situation that occurs in the restrooms or family locker rooms pretty quickly, because our offices are right there on the left-hand side. Gives us much better advantages to be able to see the pool from all the angles, from the office to the concession area, as well as the back building, the farthest one on the east right there that Larry's pointing to, being the lifeguard station, our head lifeguard office and station right there, because that is the deep end of the pool, and that's where the majority of our saves occur. So it's important to do that. As you're aware, it's a very large pool. I'm probably talking too long here, but we have to keep 14 guards on staff at all time for that. And with the extra set of eyes that we would be able to have from the front entrance as well as the lifeguard offices really help us be able to maintain the safety and integrity that we try to provide at the pools. If you have any questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thanks. Kathy, anything from the administration?
We just have 5 conditions noted there.
Anything from the commission members?
Could you blow up, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Could you blow up the image that, the elevation that shows the colors of the materials? Because right now we don't have a color rendering of the,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, there's an entry image, rendering. Can we see what it looks like closer up? Because right now we just have black and white elevations. Yeah, that one up there. I don't know if you can blow that up. So the stone is like a light colored gray, kind of, and then the wood is a wood colored panel.
That is correct.
I can't see, what's the roofing material is a shingle?
It's a metal.
It's a metal
It's
roof?
a dark metal roof, that is correct.
And what color would that be? Do you know?
I don't recall the exact color. I'm going to say a dark brown.
Okay. And the area that has the pool equipment, is there any exposed equipment, anything on the ground, anything on the roof?
There will not be any exposed equipment. The current building that holds our filtration system is going to be taken down, and the new building is actually going to replace it. We're not moving the existing pits or filtration system. The building is actually going to be built around it. The sheds that we currently have out there behind the pool filtration room is going to be eliminated because we now have storage and obviously a much larger building, as you can see those sheds right there. But our goal is not to have any equipment, either pool equipment and or filtration equipment exposed at all.
And no mechanical equipment on the
No
roof?
mechanical equipment, that is correct.
Just holding the city to the same standard that I hold everyone else?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We are
good.
also going to do a significant amount of landscaping around this, as we talked about the last time at the parking lot area. Our department, we have the tree farm. We put in replace or moves approximately 60 trees a year. And the big function of this is the big portion of those trees are going to be around this park over the next 2 years.
And are you replacing the security fence around the
Yes, we are.
facility? And
Yes.
the materials there, is it going to be vinyl covered, color?
It's going to be the dark colored.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Mr. Chairman, what's the timeline for something like this? Are you at the same time as the basketball courts and the pickleball courts? I mean, that's a lot going on at one time, if that's what
It's
you're
going to
planning.
be a busy summer.
Okay.
All
right.
The plan is to have this bid out and directly as soon as we close, which is in mid-August, ideally they come in the following day and to take the buildings down. Our goal is to start construction at the middle of August here and have it open at the beginning of June next year. So we're going to be doing that project during the fall, winter, spring months. We'll be doing the parking lot here hopefully this summer and fall. And then the water slide is going in now. So there's a lot of, and then the ice arena is going to be happening within the next month and a half as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Menor Rocks.
We've got that to deal with as
Yeah,
well.
that's right.
Yes.
Is there anything else? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with the 5 conditions.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Mr. Varga?
Yes.
Mr. Crocker?
Yes.
Mr. Haddon?
Yes.
Mr. Perkovich?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes. Thanks,
Thank you.
Kathy, anything?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.